Hello po, Doc.
Good afternoon po.
Hope you're able to read up on the chapters so we can have a more clinical discussion this time. Before we pick up from last time, do you have questions from what you've read? Do you have clarifications you'd like to raise now? Okay. Okay, if not for now, let me know once you have later. Because again, this is your chance to engage in the more clinical aspects of what you've read. Okay. Let's go with rapport this time. So sinabi, no? The first step is to establish rapport. What are ways to establish rapport? Can we get 3 examples? Karami, no? Pero what are your personal favorites? Can we get 3 examples now? Three examples to establish rapport. 3 ways pala to establish rapport. Anybody?
Properly introducing oneself, Doc.
Okay, good.
Asking how their day is going.
Okay, next.
Awareness po dun sa tone and yung manner of speaking po to make sure na parang like yung mood, like yung hindi ka magmumukhang walang gana na makipag-usap.
Okay, so nonverbals, right? Okay. Say for instance, we have a patient who's aggressive, okay, almost violent, but not violent, aggressive. So, kasi kung violent, you stop the interview. A bit aggressive, paranoid, okay, so pagkatungtong sa ER or sa clinic, patient goes, sino ka ba? Doktor ka ba talaga dito? Ba't kita kakausapin? How will you deal with that? Let's just skip the rapport altogether. Ano palagay nyo? What do we do? What's the first step then?
I think you can deal with that by first acknowledging what the patient seems to be feeling. Like, you acknowledge mo na mukha siyang agitated and then you proceed to calmly asking kung anong meron, kung why does he seem so agitated, so you could get a better understanding of his or her side.
Okay, good. How about the others? How do you imagine handling that situation?
Doc, siguro be calm and then help the patient to settle or calm the patient muna din po bago po mag-proceed.
Okay. Can somebody else give me an example or one way of trying to calm down the patient? Iba naman.
Doc, since like the patient was looking for, or the initial question of the patient was, "Who are you?" I feel like having proper introduction of who you are will at least put some doubt in the patient's mind at rest.
Okay, good. Would somebody else like to try? But a general question I had earlier also was, would you skip the first step, establishing rapport altogether?
Doc, I don't think you necessarily have to skip. More like, may incorporate mo na agad yung establishment ng rapport dun sa process of getting to engage with the person habang at
Okay. All the more we want to be establishing rapport, diba? All the more. Okay? Because that's what the patient needs, all the more. So, walang exceptions to pagdating sa rapport. Okay? Even with patients in comatose, even with psychotic patients, okay? No exceptions. So, but this is where you have a more real world clinical setting feel of introducing oneself, di ba? Same principles, di ba? Kasi sino nga naman ako, di ba? Good afternoon, my name is Dr. Quadro. I'm here to do a patient interview. If at any point you want us to stop you, let us know. Okay? Or you mentioned nonverbals earlier. Okay? So like being very aware of how we look. So hindi pwedeng calm down, you calm down, pero ako hindi ako kalmado. So these are nonverbals also. So hindi pwedeng you are very safe here, pero yung kamay ko nasa likod ko, malay niya kung anong hawak ko sa likod ko. Paranoid nga yung patient, di ba? Okay, so actual clinical applications of the basics that we don't skip. Okay, all the more apply. Pagdating dito, actually, number one yung, sa listahan kasi, well, safety and comfort, it's actually the number one, first that you establish. Una sa lahat, safety and comfort. Okay? Of your own, your own safety and comfort. Okay? So let's use the same example. You have a patient, kind of aggressive, maybe escalating to violent, paranoid. How will you establish or how will you feel safe and comfortable? So how will you establish safety and comfort for both the patient and especially yourself? Ano kaya? Tipin nyo ngayon, if I will assign you to go to the interview room, isolation area in the ER, interview that patient, how would you feel? Would you feel safe enough to go there, conduct the interview? You're feeling a bit hesitant, hear the patient shouting, belligerent siya. Hear the patient shouting, what will you do? How will you establish safety and comfort?
By applying positive reinforcement to the patient,
Okay.
or sort of self disclosure of certain aspects, like opening yourself up to the patient to allow for level communication, or basically putting yourself to the inpatient's shoes, like what they would feel.
Okay. How about the others? Thoughts? What do you have something you feel you need to do for you to feel safe conducting that clinical encounter? Does the book give us tips? Ang sabi sa book. So you have a patient who is manifesting paranoid ideation. Sino ka ba? Nahabol mo ako? No, isa ka dun sa mahabol sa akin. Starting to shout, showing aggression. Will you feel safe conducting that interview? What do you feel you need to do in order to feel safe? What else? Kung sa nabanggit ni Dr. Acantilado. And
Doc, could it be if ever the patient is having any outbursts is to show the call this is to understand what the patient is going through when expressing compassion towards the patient.
okay.
Doc, could it be possible for you to have a companion?
Okay. Sino? Who might the companion be?
Probably another health professional.
Okay. With these, okay, so you try to figure out what's happening to the patient. I would feel comfortable with that. Okay? Kasi kaya ko yun. Okay? So, if you feel comfortable doing that, go. If you feel comfortable with your companion, go. Okay? So, the book will generally give you guidelines. Okay? It will tell you to have a competent staff. But in the real world, okay, you will feel engaged nun is you feel confident enough to, okay, we're good now, we can start the interview. Yung ganon. Kasi the book will tell you just to have a competent staff with you. Okay? But in the real life, I mean, like, I have somebody with me, pero like, itong nurse na kasama ko, hindi talaga siya taga-psych unit. So, pag something happens, hindi niya alam gagawin niya. So, that will not make me feel safe, di ba? So, think of all of these, okay, in a way that really will make you feel safe. Okay, so from the chat box, maybe we can avoid raising voice, avoid confrontational actions. That's good because you don't want to be escalating unless sadya yun. You want to like provoke the patient. Okay, like, I don't imagine a scenario where that's advisable. But again, kung sadya yun, go for it. Avoid putting hands on your waist or crossing arms. Okay, good. And the very basic, have somebody competent with you. So, hindi pwedeng like, may kasama naman yung patient, pero anak niyang 8 years old. Ano magagawa nun para protektahan tayo, di ba? So, if you have a companion with you, how will we balance safety and confidentiality? So, paano yun? You have a companion, paano yung concerns with privacy and confidentiality naman? What do you think?
If possible, Doc, I think you can try to keep your companion at a distance wherein he or she is close enough to oversee what's happening, but not too close that he or she is able to hear everything that you're talking about with your patient.
Okay, good. But close enough to hear if you are calling for help. No? So it would be it could be acceptable to have competent staff just by the door. Leave the door ajar. So sinasabi natin sa patient lahat to establishing yung rapport. Okay, so very appropriate tones and words and facial expressions and nonverbal gesture. Kasama yun. So I can tell the patient that for your safety and mine, I will leave this door a bit open and then staff are right outside. They will help us. Okay, so if at any point you don't feel comfortable, we can stop this interview. At saka may staff tayo right outside Okay. Or if you'd be more comfortable, papasukin natin siya. And ganun. So kasama yun. Okay, babalansihin din natin yun. Okay. Una sa lahat, super basic. Saan kayo pwesto? Basic, ano? Like yung...
Near the door, Doc, or sa exit area.
Okay. So, make sure you have a clear exit path. Nakapunta na ba kayo sa doctor's clinics? By convention, usually, nakaupo yung doctor sa may wall, ano? Then you have the negatoscope there and some other stuff. And then the patient comes in dun sa door. No? Okay. If you have been to psychiatric clinics, baliktad generally. Pero kung iisipin, they should go for all, right? Like, make sure you have an exit path. Kayo dun sa exit path. In some other offices, some other clinics that we have, meron pang panic button sa ilalim ng desk connected sa security office. Okay, so meron na talagang protocols in place. Okay. Questions, clarifications, safety, comfort.
Doc,
Mm-hmm.
for rapport, there's something I was reading about. There's an acronym here. It's PEARLS. So P stands for partnership. E is for empathy. A is for apology. R is for respect. L is for legitimization, and S is for support.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering if you've heard of that.
Is that from the book?
No, just my own research.
Okay. But generally, a mnemonic for basics of rapport, therapeutic, which would eventually be foundation for the therapeutic alliance, the therapeutic relationship. Meaning, we have a relationship, patient and I. Okay, so respect would be there regardless if the patient is psychotic. Even if the patient is comatose, okay? Patient is comatose, there is a certain amount of respect still, di ba? I'm not sure you've experienced being on the bedside, okay? Hindi tayo basta-basta. We still drape the patient, right? What's the P? Sorry, partnership?
Yes, it's partnership.
Okay, partnership meaning the therapeutic alliance, like harmonious patient-physician relationship. This used to be the doctor-patient relationship. Some chapters now are very keen on presenting it as patient-first, patient-physician relationship. Okay, based on same principles that have been drilled into us since first year. No? So respect, active listening skills, same banana. But for this course, I'd like you to somehow start feeling at least or imagining or somehow starting to think about how these play out in actual clinical scenarios. Because imagine that could be easy if the patient is, just very submissive. Diba? Actually, baka mas mahirap yun if the patient is too submissive. Imagine if you have patients who are paranoid, psychotic, flighty, too seductive, diba? So, the same basic principles are basic. Okay? Pero this time, for this class, keep in mind those principles that you also mentioned. We will start applying it in clinical practice. Okay? I once had a patient, psychotic, very psychotic. Sinubukan nga niya akong saksakin eh. So I almost got stabbed. By the end of that, evening, so I tell her, I will need to give you this medication if it will help you calm down, okay, to keep you from hurting yourself or other people, etc., etc. By the end of that night, she was cursing me. She was about to stab me. By the end of that night, she goes, "Okay, doctora, thank you. Good night." Okay, so all in a day's relationship. Okay. So we should be able to perform all of this without compromising any of the rapport, physician-patient relationship, beneficence, respect. Okay? Let's try it as we go along. Or baka maybe you have other build relationships. Okay, thank you for this link. I hope we get to try it once you start to have clinical encounters. Okay. Let's try it theoretically for now. Okay. Let's try it with theoretical patients. Okay. Let's go through the history taking. This is the format that we follow when you report the history. Okay. But when you perform the history, not necessarily you go for contact tracing. Okay, so not necessarily in this order. Okay. In the same way that when you do the physical examination, you report it following a standard format, di ba? IPPA, chest first, before abdomen, before extremities. But when we perform the physical examination, not necessarily in that order, di ba? Because we cannot have the patient stand up, sit down, lie down, di ba? It's also the same with history taking. Not necessarily performed or conducted in this order, but when you report it, it has to be in this order. Okay? Okay, so identifying data, very easy to for recitation. Can you name me what are the data points that you need to include?
Doc name, age, sex, marital status, occupation, language, religion po,
Hindi kasama yung language, but okay. Religion.
ethnic background.
Okay. /citizenship, okay. Ano pa?
Birthday and
Birthday.
birthplace.
Okay. Birthplace and
Address.
residence. Okay. Okay. How about next part? So easy yan. Next part, source and reliability. What if pretty even when I was a student, parang what's 60% reliability? What's 70%? Wala naman talagang standards. It's really just if it's poor, if it's a good reliability. In any case, say it's poor reliability. Say for example, the patient is paranoid, very guarded, wouldn't talk to you. So you're not getting much. Or delusional. So not sure tayo about the reliability. What do you do? What do we do when the reliability is poor?
Interviewin po yung companion.
Okay. You have other ideas? So one is to get collateral information. Kaya may source. Collateral informants. Any other way we can up the reliability? Like in a statistical sense or research sense, how will you up the reliability?
Is it possible po kayo to give test po?
Pwede.
Psychometric tests?
Ano pa? Kumbaga sa inter-rater reliability tinatawag. We can check for consistency. Repeatedly ask the questions. Or when you go back to the patient sa soaping, iba na yung sinabi niya. There's consistency also. Okay, pwede yun. The chief complaint in psychiatry is reported verbatim. Okay? So, halimbawa, let's practice. Can somebody ask, kunyari ako yung patient, can somebody ask me for my chief complaint? Can we get 3 examples of how you ask for chief complaint? Chance to practice. Three examples. 3 styles. How will you ask for chief complaint? Go for it, Alexis.
Okay. So hi, magandang hapon po. Ako po si Dr. Chua. Maaari ko po bang malaman ang dahilan ng inyong pagpunta rito?
Dahilan ng inyong pagpunta dito. Okay, good. If I go, di po ako makatulog eh. What's the chief complaint there, Leslie?
Yung hindi po ako makatulog.
Okay, as is, verbatim according to the patient, di po ako makatulog eh. Okay, good. Can we get, para makapractice tayo, 2 more? 2 more would like to practice? Asking for the chief complaint? Okay. No more. Okay. Sayang yung practice. Okay. Hindi ako makatulog eh. Okay, so then we do HPI. Ito, papasadahan ko lang because nothing different in psychiatry really. Until you get to the real clinical encounters, medyo it will be tricky to do it. Pero ito, in principle, nothing different. TQRST, do the qualifiers of the symptom. Kailan pa hindi makatulog? Anong klase hindi makatulog? Putol-putol ba? Hindi kayo naantok? Does it go with other symptoms? Precipitating factors? Pareho lang. Okay? All the same. Babalikan natin yan maybe as we go along. Okay? Let's go to the next parts first. What's after the HPI?
Medical history po.
Okay. What might you want to ask in the past medical history?
Childhood diseases,
Okay. What else?
immunization,
Okay, good. Blood transfusions. Ngayon, may history of travel pa eh, no? COVID infection. Okay. What's next after the past medical history?
Family history po, Doc.
Okay. What might you want to ask in the family history?
Maybe we'd ask if the parents have any sickness as well as siblings.
Okay, good. Or anyone in the family. Huh? Okay, actually almost all of the conditions, except perhaps infectious, okay, not only in psychiatry, will definitely have a genetic predisposition. Okay, so at yan meron. Not 100%, right? But there always will be a genetic component, a biologic component to our illnesses. That's why we want to ask for family history. What's after family history?
personal and social history,
Okay, also known as personal social history is also known as
Anamnesis.
anamnesis, as in like a personal recalling of one's life. Okay, so what would you want to be asking in the? By the way, in most cases, the personal social history also includes a substance use history. It's just that you might encounter in psychiatry, in psychiatric practice, that often, almost all instances actually, the substance use history is given a lengthier, separate section. Only because we tend to be meticulous with substance use. Kasi addiction psychiatry is a subspecialty of psychiatry. So we tend to be very particular about substance use history, addictions. Okay? So, pero generally kasama naman yun in most other in general practice. So, what aside from substance use history, what else might you want to ask in the anamnesis?
Tobacco use.
Okay, what else?
Part of
Current living situation.
Okay, what else? Can I get 3 more examples?
education and occupation.
Occupational history, what else?
Food prep,
What is that?
food preference,
Food preferences, what else?
Psychosexual history.
Psychosexual history, very good. My a general practice in doing the anamnesis, in reporting the anamnesis pala. Because when you do the interview, again, it's not necessarily following the way we report it. When you report the anamnesis, do it chronologically, meaning following life development. So you might want to start it with, where might you want to start it?
Prenatal and perinatal.
Very good. Okay, prenatal. And then, childhood na agad.
Infancy.
Infancy. Okay. Yung iba nga, some even started from preconception. Imagine. Depends on how significant it is to the case. For example, patients' parents met through abduction, something like that. Okay, there was no plan. There has always been history of trauma, even before conception. Okay, so patient was unplanned. Okay, so hindi tayo nang chichismis lang ah. If it's necessary for the case, then we include that. So sometimes it goes even way back, preconception. Okay, patient's mother has history of worked as a sex worker when she was in her teens. However, it is significant to the case. Preconception, prenatal, infancy, and then
Middle childhood.
early childhood, middle childhood, and then
Adolescence.
adolescence, and then
Adulthood.
adulthood, and so on. Okay, so that's my tip. So you don't miss anything. You generally will encounter very lengthy personal social histories or anamnesis in 2 specialties, in psychiatry and in pediatrics. Okay, they go with developmental milestones. So similarly, we do that in psychiatry also. So this is where I pick up on your mastery, no less, of first year behavioral medicine. This is where I hope you start incorporating what you know of normality into second year and eventually into pathologic. Example, okay, so you mentioned psychosexual history, all the others that you recall from first year. So example, we have a patient, let's make it an adult patient, 20-year-old female coming in for psychotic features. Okay, so not very reliable. Okay, that's why you have the mother to interview also. So the mother goes. So you ask the mother, "Kamusta po siya? How was the patient when she was very young?" Okay. Mabait naman po siya. Okay, patient was very easy to. Patient was a very easy child. Did not cry a lot. Did not even talk to any of us or any of her playmates. She started playing with our cats. Then she started playing with our neighbors when she was 8 years old. Very good kid. Okay, what do you think? Thoughts? Comments? Thoughts? Comments? Anything playing in your mind? Not really. Nothing catches your neurons. Thoughts?
Doc, parang based from the statement po of the mother, she didn't find the behavior unusual, but parang na-reinforce pa rin po niya yung behavior.
Okay. She didn't find the behavior abnormal. Do you?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay.
Kasi po, parang if I know po, di ba, ang unang makakausap po ng bata is sa family first.
Okay. How about the others? Thoughts? Do you agree? Or is that too harsh? Would the others agree? We now have to make sense of what you know from normality.
Doc, di ba po kasi pag sa bata po, yung parang una siyang nakaka-establish ng rapport with the family members. Tapos parang afterwards, tsaka siya, kunwari, like at the age of, kunwari mga 2 to 3, dapat parang nagsa-start na siya na parang humiwalay dun sa, parang yung, parang yung comfort niya sa parents. Tapos, dapat pag start na siyang mag-establish ng parang peers o mga peer groups, ganun, makikipaglaro na siya, interact. Pero, dun po sa patient, 8 years old na po siya, parang nag-start po makapag-interact dun sa mga neighbors niya po. Tapos more on sa mga animals na po siya.
Okay. So, may delay, 8 years old. Di siya nakikipaglaro. Earlier than that, that's a delay. Okay, so this will start catching your attention. Okay, let's try it a bit more. Okay, she was a really good kid, so the mother continues on. Really good kid. We don't have problems with this kid just until now, but she used to be a very easy kid. Okay, no problems. In fact, when she was 8 years old, very good kid. She started to learn how to Archie Callan. She started to not wet the bed. Salamat sa Diyos. Finally, we got to wean her off her diapers. Also at 8 years old. Maybe because she was starting to go out with her neighbors. They were starting to play. So finally, we got her to wean her off of her diapers. No problems at all. What do you think? Thoughts?
Doc, yung sa mother po, ang nakakita niya is everything positive dun sa child niya. Tapos, tingin niya completely normal lang at the age of ng anak niya is normal lang na parang nasa tamang pace po or developmentally at age 8 years old is doon lang siya matitrain. Pero di po nakikita ng mother yung delay sa anak niya.
Okay. Is there a delay? The mother says no problem. Is there a delay?
Hindi po ba, Doc, ang toilet training is supposed to be from early childhood, so birth to age 3?
Okay, good. So she finally got to wean her off of her diapers at 8. Is that a delay? What do the others think? Pearl kind of implies, no, actually, Pearl is saying it's a delay. Should have been done earlier. When should it have been done? When should you have expected her to? When should you have expected weaning from diapers?
About 3 or to 4.
Very good. 4 years old. Board exam question, by the way. Okay, that's a board exam question. Daytime wetting. Okay, by 4 years old. Daytime and nighttime. So delay, So there is a delay. Okay, so even if the mother tells you, otherwise, if you go, oh, okay, no problem, then you're just transcribing. Okay, I'm not saying, I'm not belittling transcriptionists. I'm not, but it is a different job. Okay, you will just be transcribing. This time, you have to be making sense of data. Okay, because you're not just writing histories, you are reporting, you have to be diagnosing. Like this one, you have to make sense of data. Okay. So let's go on further. So the mother also says, no problems. And then she started playing with other kids. The problem is with our neighbors. Okay. The neighbors don't like it when my daughter plays with them because she always says, kunwari sex tayo. Okay? And then the other kids get kind of like, oh my God, sobra naman. Ang bastos-bastos ng ibang bata. Laro lang naman yun. What do you think?
Doc, I believe that that's also the mother's way of thinking. Masyado siyang biased sa child niya na binibigyan niya ng excuse lahat ng delays ng child niya. She doesn't see it
Is there a delay?
Yes, there's a delay.
Baka bastos ka rin mag-isip, doktora. Grabe yung neighbors namin. Sobra ka naman, doktora. 8 years old lang yun, ba't mo pag-iisipan ng ganon? What will you tell the mother? Is there a delay? Doctor, will you stick to that? There is a delay?
Doc, maybe sasabihan po yung mother ng nicely na I'm not sure po kasi Doc if delay po ba yung tawag doon na hindi ko po ma-formulate how to say it to the mother na yun nga medyo bastos nga yung basta Doc, I think it's also wrong pero hindi ko po ma-formulate pa like how to say it to the mother.
Okay, fair enough. Not to tell the mother, but you kinda
Ray Luan.
For a while. Okay. Think about it. I need to take this one. Hi again. Okay. So, given all these data, you're trying to do the anamnesis. Some things sumasabit, no? May sabit sa inyo. You kind of, some things catch your attention as they should. Okay? Like they shouldn't go over your head and then just take note of them. Okay? So we have to make clinical sense of things because you have to be diagnosing. So, let me go back. So is there a delay? Or is there something abnormal there? Just to keep it simple. It might be too simplistic, pero it can be as simple as asking, is that abnormal? Is that abnormal?
Yes po.
Yes. Okay. Why do you say so? Go back to first year.
Doc, kasi po ang play sa kanya is sex.
Okay. Ano ba dapat? Pick a theory. Where do you know this from?
Freud.
Okay. At that age, nasa generally, roughly, anong stage siya dapat?
Latency stage.
Okay. Tapos na siya sa phallic stage. Okay. So, delay yun, ano? Pick another theory. Swak ba? Pick another theory that you might be useful in this sense. Huling topic niyo last sem.
Eric Erickson po, development.
So, Eric Erickson, nasa stage siya dapat. He's 8 years old. Ano dapat pinagkakabalahan niya? Eight years old? Ano dapat?
School po dapat, Doc.
A lot of artistry and capacitating self. You mentioned some, keep it close to the case. You mentioned it earlier. That's why I used this example. You mentioned psychosexual. Psychosexual development, nasan siya dapat ngayon? 8 years old. Female.
Doc latent? Latent.
Sexual.
Doc, industry versus inferiority po.
Okay, that's Erickson. Psychosexual development. Nasan siya dapat?
Phallic, Doc.
Psychosexual development. Human sexuality. Physiologic. Nasan siya dapat? Naginig ko na kanina. Anong Tanner stage siya? Ano dapat physiologically? What do you expect? They kind of like go together, no? By any theory you pick, may delay siya. May wala sa lugar. Let's pick the most basic. If you don't want like a lot of Psych 101, if that's not your juice, go physiologic. Ano ba dapat ang physiology niya at that age? Sexually. 8 years old. Oh yeah, this is first year. You're supposed to know. Then let's up it. Let's up the level now. You're supposed to now make clinical sense of it. So, 8 years old, how do you try to make sense of the sexual development at this point? Ano na ba dapat siya? Should she be thinking about sex?
Doc, sorry po, mali po yung latent. Latent stage.
Do you mean like sexual development?
Psychosexual po ni Freud.
Ni Freud.
Latency.
Okay, we've done that already, di ba? We've discussed that. We've discussed Erickson. Third na ngayon, sexual development, human development. Physiologic. Yung last topic nyo, last year, nasan siya dapat ngayon?
Start of puberty na po.
Okay. Maybe pre-puberty pa nga eh. Puberty. Definitely not adolescence, no? Okay. So ito, hindi delay. Anong tawag sa kabaligtaran ng delay?
Advanced.
If you have somebody, okay, na may certain delays or somebody who already is talking about sex at 8 years old, what do you start to think of?
Doc, baka po na-expose siya sa mga other people na naririnig niya tong topics na to, or baka po yung media, pwede rin po maka-affect yun.
Pwede? What else do you think of?
Doc, baka po for the bata, meron sinasabi ko nga rin may adult nagsasabi sa kanya na play yung sex. Yan.
Good. Or worse?
Doc, baka may experience
Okay. Of
sexual abuse.
sexual abuse. Okay. So these things should start running in your mind. Okay. Obviously, the mother is so blissfully unaware. Diba? And then you start to put things together. A child, she was a child, hindi na siya child ngayon. A child who clearly has delays in development, so mukhang may intellectual disability siya, so all the more vulnerable siya to sexual abuse. Diba? Si bihira. And usually, ganun yung ganito yung history ng mga bata na merong masyadong they start talking about sex. May awareness, early awareness of sex. Okay. Kahit pa meron yung mga like naka-witness ng ng sex in early age, hindi ganyan. Okay. So usually, you will start to think about sexual abuse. Okay. So again, this is how you make sense of data. Okay. So from your normality, you should be able to put all these things together. Okay. May delays siya, motor, language delays, socializing niya delayed. Diba? So you generally have an idea, so you can make sense of things. Okay, and generally do something about it. Okay. Okay. Questions at this point? Questions, clarifications? So a feel of how we will approach things clinically. Okay. So if no questions, let's continue next week. Particularly, mukhang tatawid na tayo sa these are subjective. Okay, subjective. Eventually, we will do objective findings. Focus on mental status examination. Okay, how to perform the mental status examination and the symptomatology that we are looking for. Okay, same chapter. Okay, no questions?